Welcome to today's Explainer. Right now, we're tackling one of the absolute most popular battery configurations out there for modern solar and off-grid setups. We're talking about the 24-volt, 100-amp-hour LiFePO4 pack. But listen, we aren't just going to slap some cells together today. We're diving into this with a true engineering mindset. That means we're going to fully understand the math, the protection coordination, and those absolutely critical safety precautions that guarantee long-term reliability.
Here's the game plan for today. We're kicking things off with the DIY danger zone. Then moving into core electrical math, the 5 hidden failure modes, the safe assembly process, and finally, final testing. Understanding the math and the risks really has to happen before we even think about connecting any wires. Let's get right into it.
All right, Section 1, the DIY danger zone, exposing common safety gaps.
So there is actually a massive difference between your run-of-the-mill DIY tutorials and a proper safety-first engineering approach. Typical DIY videos tend to focus heavily on the physical build process, right? They'll show individual cell prep, basic BMS connection, maybe some initial charging, but they completely skip over the math and completely ignore fault current risks. Our approach is different. We calculate those fault currents, prioritize a safety-first design, and ensure proper protection coordination before we even build anything. Learning the why before the how is just absolutely essential here. Because when that engineering mindset is missing, severe safety gaps start popping up everywhere. We're talking about commonly ignored issues like using unmatched cells, which creates major balancing headaches and severely shortens your battery's life. Then you've got mechanical oversights, like ignoring the compression requirements for these pneumatic cells, which can literally cause the cells to swell up. But the most dangerous gaps? Those involve short-circuit energy. Even a small lithium battery pack can deliver terrifyingly high fault currents. Yet you'll see so many builds that skip insulated tools, leave the terminal covers off, or just have absolutely no fuse at all, which is basically building a massive, avoidable fire risk right inside your home.
That brings us right to Section 2, Core Electrical Math. Let's take a quick look at the numbers behind the power.
To build our pack, we're using 8 LiFePO4 cells in what's called an 8S, or series configuration. The foundational physics here is super simple but incredibly important. We are wiring the positive terminal of one cell directly to the negative terminal of the next. When we do this, the total voltage increases, but our current capacity stays exactly the same.
Now, because of how these series connections work, while we all casually call this a 24-volt battery, the nominal voltage is actually 25.6 volts. That's simply because each of those 8 cells has a nominal voltage of roughly 3.2 volts. You do the math, 8 times 3.2, and you get exactly 25.6.
So what about the total energy storage? The formula for battery energy in watt-hours is just your voltage multiplied by your amp-hours. If we take our 25.6 volts and multiply that by our 100 amp-hour capacity, we get exactly 2,560 watt-hours. That means our finished pack stores a highly capable 2.56 kilowatt-hours of total energy.
We can easily connect this voltage to real-world power requirements using the formula power equals voltage times current. For instance, say you want to run a 1,000-watt load, like a small coffee maker or a microwave. You just divide those 1,000 watts by 25.6 volts to find the current you need. That appliance will smoothly pull roughly 39 amps of current right from your battery pack.
With all the math squared away, let's jump to Section 3, 5 hidden failure modes. This section is all about building a healthy respect for the immense amount of energy stored inside these batteries.
There's a fantastic quote from our source material that really hits the nail on the head here. A battery pack is only as reliable as its weakest cell. This dramatically underscores exactly why mixing unmatched, old, or different capacity cells is just a total recipe for disaster. Ideally, every single cell should be from the exact same production batch, with similar internal resistance and cycle counts.
If you don't respect that stored energy, you're opening the door to cascading, catastrophic failures. A cell short circuit, that can create a terrifying arc flash that could literally melt a wrench right in your hand. Reversing the cell polarity is a quick way to fry all your expensive electronics. Incorrect BMS wiring will instantly destroy the battery management system itself. And if you're missing that main fuse, a simple cable fault can escalate incredibly fast into a total system meltdown. Finally, punching in the wrong charging settings can drastically slash your battery's lifespan or cause some really frustrating BMS protection lockouts.
Now that we've got a solid grip on the math and the failure modes, we can safely move on to Section 4, the safe assembly process. Since we've laid the groundwork, every single physical step we take from here on out carries real, logical engineering weight.
Here's our sequential engineered build process. Step 1 is cell matching and layout. This is where we inspect the cells and verify the voltage of every individual cell using a digital multimeter. They really should be reasonably close to one another. Step 2 is the series wiring, ensuring we have secure mechanical support. Step 3 is our BMS installation. And Step 4 is where we install that main fuse and the main cables, double-checking that everything is properly torqued right to the manufacturer's specs.
Listen closely, because this right here is the exact moment a lot of DIYers completely ruin their project and flush their money down the drain. Before you connect any balance lead to the BMS, you absolutely must verify the voltage order between your connection points with your multimeter. Guessing here is pretty much guaranteed to let the magic smoke out of your BMS instantly and permanently destroying it.
During assembly, you really need to understand the distinct, non-overlapping roles of your BMS versus your main fuse. The battery management system is there to protect against unsafe operating conditions, things like overcharging or over-discharging, and it actively balances the cells. But hear me on this, it is absolutely not a replacement for a fuse. The main fuse is there specifically to protect your wiring and your circuits from catastrophic fault currents and dead short circuits. Both of these components are 100% mandatory for a safe system.
And that brings us to the final stretch, Section 5, Final Testing and Operation. The physical build is done, but before this battery goes into service, we have to rigorously verify our work.
But before any charging begins, you have to run through a strict pre-charge inspection. Think of it like a pilot running through a pre-flight checklist. First, verify the system polarity. Then, check every single bus bar connection. Confirm that BMS wiring one more time just to be sure. Inspect your cable routing and your insulation barriers. And finally, validate that your main fuse is properly installed right near that positive battery terminal. Only after every single one of these rigorous checks is ticked off should you even think about starting that first charging cycle.
So how does all this hard work translate to real life? After a successful charge and load test, how long is this battery actually going to run your gear? Well, using our runtime formula, which is just battery energy divided by load power, we can see that a 500-watt load will run for roughly 5.1 hours on this pack, assuming we ignore minor system losses. That is more than enough energy to easily power a camp fridge and all your lights for an entire evening completely off the grid.
Building your own lithium battery pack with an engineering mindset is just an incredible learning experience, and it yields some seriously reliable off-grid energy storage. But as we've seen today, it demands a high level of respect for the stored energy, proper insulated tools, and meticulous testing. So, considering all the rigorous safety checks and the mathematical design required, do you prefer the challenge of building your own LiFePO Pour Pack from scratch, or does buying a factory-assembled battery with an integrated BMS make more sense for your peace of mind? Think about that as you plan your next solar project.